Hello and welcome to Lancast. Danny and Josh here. This is our first podcast of the new year. What's up, y'all? What's up, Josh? Oh man, a lot of stuff has happened the last couple of weeks, I guess. I mean, we try to stay local focused, but man, there's just so much stuff going on a wider scale outside of Lancaster and Pennsylvania in general. From Minnesota to Venezuela. I don't know. Where do you want to get started, Josh?
Let's start with Venezuela, I guess.
Yeah, because
that's the biggest one.
Right. So the last couple of weeks have disillusioned me a lot in terms of the tribalism on. Well, I mean, it's always been on both sides, but like all of a sudden, people I thought were against regime change now think it's great because of Trump, even though it wasn't actually a real regime change. And yeah. Well, there's a lot to unpack here. So do we want to talk about how getting kicked out of a certain group
for
critical of Trump?
we can.
I mean, yeah.
Oh, should I have used the language I used? Maybe not. You know, I mean, so I guess what happened was I was a little bit upset that we supposedly voted for the president of peace. You know, the president that wanted to end all the wars, wanted to do deals, wants to cut deals. We don't need to do any regime change. He made a massive speech in the Middle East just 6 months ago, talking about how that was the neocon way, and we're not going to do that anymore. Exactly. And then all of a sudden, he goes into another country in the middle of the night, kills 32 Cubans. That was basically special operation Cubans that defended Maduro, and then killed, I think, another 80 more. Isn't it 80
is the number I keep hearing. Yeah.
Like but 30 of those were Cubans, which, by the way, Cuba's only 80 miles away from America. And we go into this country and we kidnap their leader and their wife. And then here's the craziest part. We charge him with breaking crimes in American law, even though he never lived under our jurisdiction.
It's the most ridiculous thing. Right.
It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any legal sense. So like I was upset, and I've been on FreePA for I think since 2021. I was a little late to the party. And I just said I was a bit disgusted, and I can't remember all the words, but then I said at the end, I said, if you think supporting this makes you a conservative, it doesn't. It makes you a scum conservative, or something along those lines. Basically, I was saying, if you think this is what we voted for, what he said he was going to be, and if you think this is a good thing, then you're a scum fake conservative. And because people got offended by that, apparently the free speech party kicked me. Right.
They kicked you out, and then I got kicked out because I tried to post a mostly unrelated podcast episode that we did, the last episode we did, where we talk about Venezuela, and that's why I posted it. I said, here's a relevant minute of our last episode, and there's relevant stuff about Venezuela. And then they, instead of posting it or rejecting the post, they kicked me out too. And I followed up later with the administrator, and she said it was because of your association with Josh. And just to be clear, we're very pro-Trump here. And it was just so disheartening. Like, so that's what you're about, like, because we were critical of Trump. Mm-hmm. And because of my associations, that sounds very woke. Like,
it's very woke. It's very woke. And listen, I voted for him 3 times, and I vote for him again. Mm-hmm. But that doesn't make him the king of our nation,
right?
And also, like, how are you going to have any credibility if the minute someone says something critical of your president, you just don't want to talk to them anymore?
Yeah. And I wanted to make 2 points before I forget. One, FreePA was a great organization, and this is no reflection on the people who started up in 2021. We had a great cause. It was when all the insane like vax mandates and stuff was going on, and there was no medical freedom. And FreePA stood up against that. I think it started out with like wanting to reopen PA, then it evolved into FreePA, and that was a wonderful cause. And I hitched my hat on it. And the people who were around at that time, Anne Marie and Tabitha, were great. Now, the people who run the Facebook page now have nothing to do with that. They're just old school.
They're boomers.
Neocon. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to use that term, but yeah, they're old school neocons who would just as soon have George W. Bush back in office. And it's like, no, our show is about true America First principles, and we're against all that. When no more stupid wars. And so the other point I wanted to make, like, yeah, once I had a convo with the administrator and she let me back into the group. So I tried to post what my real point was. It's like the best thing about what happened 2 weekends ago is that it wasn't a real regime change. And I know Trump talks a lot of tough rhetoric, and that's part of his style. And maybe to some extent it's effective with negotiating with other, foreign countries to get them to do what you want. But in the end, you could argue that he's actually shown a lot of restraint, like in this, and I'm not defending him. It should have never happened in the first place, like we were just talking about. But the best thing is that it didn't continue on to a full-on regime change, just like as we've seen in Iran a couple times. And it's important that people embrace what I'm saying here. Like, this is the ideology we're about, is no regime change, regardless of what Trump did, and you need to support him no matter what. And his rhetoric is sometimes, like Adam pointed out in our last episode or 2 episodes ago, his rhetoric is hyperbole, and that's just the way he is. It doesn't mean he acts upon everything he says. And thank goodness he doesn't. So, but don't let it mislead you. Right. Those are my 2 points. I made a really long post that mostly got ignored on FreePA, but that was my first point, was like, you can't like take everything literally that he says. Like, his rhetoric is worse than the actual policy, even if the policy is wrong to begin with. You know what I mean? And the other point is, don't knee-jerk take the opposite position just because a bunch of liberals are taking one position. Like, yeah, these liberals out in the streets happen to be against the Venezuela bombing, but doesn't mean that the regime change is right now. Like, so, right. Yeah.
Well, it's not even like you said, it's not even a regime change. And I think that's, for me, that's the most upsetting part, is that we kidnapped a man and his wife, and nothing is going to change.
Right.
It's not like Maduro, was personally sending these people out on the boats. And it was like Maduro was personally doing anything. It was his generals telling peasants, telling soldiers to do this and do that. And like, they're all still there. The generals are still there. Everyone that runs the cartels in Venezuela are all still there. They did nothing.
Right.
This is going to accomplish nothing, because okay. So did we look awesome doing that? Sure.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, we it's not hard. It's not hard for us to look awesome military wise. Okay.
Sure.
I mean, we're the greatest military in the world. But if anything, it almost felt like more of a threat to Colombia and Mexico more than Venezuela.
Right.
And also I do appreciate Trump just being like, it's about the oil.
Yeah,
like,
he's on.
I do like that he was just honest about it. That like, yeah, we're gonna take their oil.
Yeah, he's always been that way. Like, just like with Syria. But well, I will also give him credit. I mean, he got the VP to release a bunch of political prisoners. So people say like, well, the Venezuelans are no better off. Well, those people are better off. I mean, maybe the 80 people that got killed aren't better off, but he did release. I mean, the VP released some 800 prisoners or something. I might be getting the number wrong, but so he did negotiate that deal, and he agreed to leave her in place instead of trying to install, as a puppet, the competitor that Machado woman who is kind of she's a fake Nobel Peace Prize recipient, just like Obama was. So I'm glad she didn't take office.
Well, what I don't know. I just worry that they did all this for nothing, because I mean, if the amount of drugs that Venezuela actually got into the U.S. is a tiny fraction compared to the drugs that Colombia and Mexico get into the U.S.
That's the story of regime changes. We did all this for nothing. That should be the that should
Well,
be the
I
dictionary.
guess, but America First. Okay, so Tucker, had an episode about it, and he said, is this America First? Well, obviously not, but we need to start accepting that us America Firsters, we are an empire, and we're gonna have to like bite our lip, basically, is what he was saying, when it comes to like our empire being an empire. Because if we're not the empire, who is going to be the empire?
So was he kind of defending like that action as something that preempts like China and Russia?
No,
Yeah.
he actually admitted that it's only like Venezuela only gives like 4% of oil
Right.
to China. It's not that. He was more or less talking about Canada. We buy, so like the kind of oil that Venezuela produces, we buy that style of oil from Canada, and because Canada doesn't want to do infrastructure for pipelines down to Louisiana for refining,
Right.
we can just start shipping it from Venezuela to Louisiana to refine it. So it's going to put Canada in a bind.
It just seems like a roundabout way of dealing with that situation.
Well, I mean, I think he was more or less saying that like it benefits us when it comes to negotiating with Canada, because we were having trouble negotiating with Canada because they kind of have us by the balls with oil.
Mm-hmm.
So in a roundabout way, I get what he was saying, but I more so appreciated the nuanced thought when he's obviously on the America First side, obviously.
Right.
But he basically said we're an empire. Like,
yeah,
who are we kidding?
he's resigned to the idea. Yeah.
Well, if you have a president who says I determine what America First is, not an actual principled layer, I mean this is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I want to talk about the people and FreePA real quick.
Yeah.
When we started doing this podcast more often, we are like, there's a clear divide in the party, even during the election year. Okay.
Yep.
You have the uninformed, vote R no matter what Republicans. You have the MAGA Republicans, and you have the America First, and then you have the neocons. It's a coalition, right?
Mm-hmm.
From what it looks like, no matter how principled you or me or people on our side are, we're basically 3 versus 1.
Yeah.
We thought we could get the MAGA people to be on our side,
right?
But at the end of the day, MAGA is whatever Trump says it is, and Trump wants to be a winner, whatever that means. So like when the big beautiful bill happened, right?
Yeah.
You and I were on the wrong side in the party because rightfully so, it was going to be $10 trillion risen to the debt ceiling.
Yep.
And we're like, how is this America First? How are we going to balance a budget if you're allowing the debt ceiling to go up 10 trillion? And and all these low informed Republican voters just say, oh, it's 3D chess, oh, the tariffs, oh, Doge, all this stuff. It's going to be okay. Trump is a genius.
And also the Democrats are against it. So
yes, exactly.
This must be the way thing to do.
Exactly. like what this must be what it felt like to be an aristocrat in Rome as it fell. You know, this must be what it felt like to be, you know, a business owner in Rome towards the end of
Right.
the fall, because like you're sane, you're principled, you know, like what is going on, but you're just surrounded by a bunch of people who would rather do bread and circus,
Right. Right.
you know, and it's very sad, you know, like it's just like when I talked on FreePA about I was rebutting some of the people. I thought I was being fairly nice about it, but they said I was being aggressive. Basically saying that like he isn't an American citizen, so how do we charge him with anything? And they were just like, oh well, he killed 300,000 Americans. And I said, did he?
What?
Like like
He personally did, huh?
like did he put the needle in their arm? Did he put the cocaine like line on the mirror
Yeah.
and gave them a dollar bill to snort it? Like you, every person that I've talked to that has done drugs, they know the risk of buying black market drugs. You don't know
Right.
what you're really taking. It's a black
Right.
market. You know, there's no regulation in a black market. You know, so like
Right.
as much as I understand where these people are coming from, Maduro didn't kill 300,000 people. 300,000 people killed themselves.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and
You have a choice. Right.
right. So it's just this whole thing is just it's upsetting, and it just feels like we're just watching Rome burn,
Yeah.
and there's nothing you or I or principled people can do about it.
Yeah. It's a good point. Right.
It's just
And
sad. It's just I don't know.
yeah.
I don't know how Thomas Massey does it.
Yeah. I don't know what else to say about it. It's depressing. Well, I mean, the only thing that gives me hope is that the Trump's hyperbole and rhetoric. Like, I'm hoping that's all it is. Like, when I hear a saber rattling against Iran, I'm like, okay, he's not really gonna, you know, try to regime change Iran. So far, like, we're 0 for 2 in that regard. Like, we thought it was going to happen when Soleimani got assassinated, and he worked out a deal. And then last summer, the bombing of the nuclear reactors, and that ended relatively restrained. I guess the 12-day war, if you want to call that a restrained military action. So
Well,
I'm hoping that's all that happens again. But my point was, the problem is, even if there is restraint on Trump's end, there's all these, I want to say idiots, but I don't usually name call.
do it.
People will think that's the right thing to do just because he used that rhetoric. Oh, well, regime change must be good because Trump said so. And
Well, the scariest thing about regime change in our sphere of influence is migration. Like,
it's one of the one of the effects.
it's really easy to regime change Afghanistan and Iraq and be like, oh, those people aren't really going to get over here. No, they went to Europe. You know, migration. They all started going up to Europe. Like, if we create a vacuum,
Mhm.
say this woman, this new president of Venezuela, say she gets tired of it,
Mhm.
and we overthrow her, and we have boots on the ground, guys. Okay, I don't know what's scarier, a Taliban who is like, you know, fighting for their god, or cartel members in a jungle that we've never been to, with,
Yeah.
even more guns, and probably have been more ruthless than the Taliban are.
Right.
Like, like we could easily create a vacuum to where migration is just going to go through the roof, and there's going to be so many people fleeing that
Right.
region, even more so. You know,
Yeah. There's many problems that come with the power vacuum. Right. There, the migration to whichever region they end up at. But the immediate area of the target of the war, I mean, that's going to be unstable, and there's going to be all kinds of fighting and killing for a long time.
yeah.
So,
Do
I
you
mean, yeah.
do
Go
you
ahead.
think in Iran right now? Do you think we're influencing the protesting? Do you think that We have assets there pushing it.
I think the CIA always has assets. To what level, I don't know. I mean, I know that that's how they operated in Syria for a long time, and it only took 10 years to finally overthrow Assad. So who knows how long they've been in Iran? But I'm sure they're following the same playbook. But it's probably a little harder. Iran's a much bigger country, much stronger, as far as I know. I mean, how many Americans know the full history of Iran? Like when we installed the Shah, and then there was the revolution in 1978, or
the same thing happened in Egypt too. Same thing happened in Egypt. I mean, we obviously, we put in people who we thought would support Israel, and then you had the Brotherhood rise up. It's just so
yep.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen next when it comes to Trump. I mean, it just seems like he's talking about Greenland again, and I see Greenland as America first, personally.
Okay.
I think that's different. Like I understand where he's coming from. We're basically Canada's military. So I mean, why not? Why not take advantage of Greenland?
It's being negotiated through peaceful means, right?
Right.
Like with Denmark. Yes. So I don't see the problem personally.
So here's the thing. Here's the thing. All right, if we're gonna get into nuts and bolts of America first, okay. Supporting Ukraine does not benefit America one iota. Okay, supporting the EU doesn't support America one iota.
I agree.
Having great trade partners with Canada is America first and is good for our country. Okay, having a country to your south that is poorer and isn't as affluent as Canada is, and just we're a world apart when it comes to quality of life, when it comes to following the law and upholding laws, and having a thriving, safe society. To me, America first is protecting your borders. And how can you protect a border when you literally have gangs of men with automatic weapons, and some of them even have tanks, that are roaming free on the southern border, and also they actually infiltrate America, and they bring drugs to America, or they produce the drugs in America.
Well, isn't that the whole point of building the wall, to keep those people out? That we're talking about two different things, like a strong border, closing off the border and securing that. Trump has largely done that.
Wouldn't you rather have another Canada to the south of us than not?
Not culturally. They're Catholic in Mexico. Each country is what it is, but I don't see any case for a military overthrow. There's just too many unintended consequences.
Well, what if we just annexed it?
By peaceful means, sure. I'm down with that.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
We can move on. I might have put my foot in my mouth. I see Mexico. I see after the Mexican-American War, we made a mistake.
Okay.
We should have taken all of it.
Some people say that General Patton, who was one of the greatest generals, should have gone all the way into Stalingrad after going into, I guess he went into Berlin, or when we were defeating the Germans, let's defeat the Russians too.
Well, no, I think Churchill had the same idea.
Yeah, but he didn't have as good a general as we did with Patton.
Well, no, and then Patton mysteriously died. Well, I mean, I don't know. We can move on.
We're just ripping now.
We're just ripping now. I would favor America annexing Mexico to almost any other form of empire building that we've ever done.
Hmm.
that
So
we've
when you
ever done.
so by annexing though, don't we inherit all of their problems too?
Yeah,
And just
that's what a good military is for.
I think you need to think through this solution.
Look, if you so you know how people, how I think Jordan Peterson said, it is cruel to make the third world care about the environment when they can't even like drive to work in a car. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, like he
Right.
said that
Yeah,
he said that
I get
before.
his point. Absolutely.
Okay, the best way to bring people up in status and up in way of life
Hmm.
is to allow them to build and allow them to prosper. Nothing has been building and prospering in Mexico but the cartel. That's it.
Sure. It's it's a problem in need of a solution. I just don't think a military solution via the United States is the solution.
Well, okay. What do you think Mexico would be like if we would have just taken all of it after the Mexican American War?
I don't know. I've never really thought about that.
You never thought about that? Oh, I think about it sometimes. I think about it sometimes.
Huh. Um, I don't know. Wouldn't it be lacking some of its Spanish culture that it has now?
I mean,
Look,
who likes Spanish culture? I'm just
I
kidding.
do.
I'm just kidding.
You haven't lived until you've been to Puerto Rico. I'm telling you. Go ahead.
The only reason why I'm still alive is because I haven't been to Puerto Rico.
Keep trying.
I know. I'm just playing. I'm just playing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I think the safety and security of our nation is paramount. So who is in charge of countries around us in the immediate vicinity matters to me more than nations that are thousands and thousands of miles away.
No, that's fair. Okay. I get your point. Like, if you were going to use your military to regime change anywhere, it might as well be one of our adjacent bordering countries.
Yeah.
Okay. I would agree with that in theory if I supported military overthrow of other governments. Okay. Well,
I mean, we've already proven we can do it in Venezuela. We just didn't hit the whole home run. We hit a single.
we could have done it if we wanted to.
We hit a single in Venezuela. We could do a whole home run, baby.
Right. Right. We could turn it into Iraq, and everyone agrees that was a disaster for not just Iraq.
Okay. All right, hold on. There's a huge difference between the people of Iraq and the people of Mexico.
So you don't think we'd have that kind of quagmire in Mexico because
no, I don't. I really truly don't, because Christianity, I mean, America is a Christian nation. Catholicism is a form of Christianity. Depending on what you believe, there's more cohesion and religiously in Mexico and America than America and Iraq. I would consider Mexico part of the West.
Right. It's part of the West. But
no, geography-wise, they're part of the West. I'm talking about like when it comes to religion, when it comes to form of government, yeah. I see them as part of the West. They just so happen to have a really bad cartel problem.
But if you look at a lot of Latin American countries, they're all Catholic, like Nicaragua. I mean, they've had their share of problems and plenty of war there. Like, there's going to be fighting everywhere where there's political unrest. I mean, I don't know. There's plenty of Catholic countries like Ireland. You know, it had the Protestants and the Catholics fighting for a long time.
That's because the Catholics were being jerks.
Yeah, blame the Catholics, right?
No, yeah. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we derailed, or I derailed the conversation. I just think I think I'm becoming more hardcore America first, to the point where, like, if we're gonna be, Tucker, it did hit me. Like Tucker was like, we kind of lost. The America First side kind of lost.
Right. I don't think he was conceding like, well, we're just gonna have to live with these wars. I mean, I don't think he was
You watch
conceding.
it?
No, no, just the way you've described it. I guess I can't speak to it then. I'll have to watch it.
It was almost just like, well, what are you gonna do? Like, you and I, like, we know what's right, but what are you gonna do? You know?
Well, it's a great question. What can any of us do? Like,
Well,
none of us.
and that's another thing I wanted to bring up. Like, I talked to a liberal friend of mine. We had talked about it earlier. I really don't see the value in voting much longer.
Oh yeah, we were going to talk about that. That's right.
Oh, we don't have to talk about that this time, but
Save that.
I really don't see the value in voting. If every time, like, if you can get shot in the ear by someone that's trying to stop you from being president, and you don't get a wake-up call and do a complete 180 and actually do what you say you're going to do, and that we're gonna drain the swamp, and we're gonna get rid of all these horrible people that are in power and all this stuff, and then a goose egg, nothing, zero, nada, nothing. You just like maybe it's my problem. I had a lot of hope. I had a lot of faith that that because he almost died, that he was going to do something.
Right.
And all these people, all these Republican friends of mine, like, oh, just give him time. We still have 3 years. You know, we have all this. We still have 3 years to go. And I'm like, the best time he could have made any change was right after the election. You know, when you win an election the way he did, you legitimately have a mandate, you know, and you had a mandate to knock on the door of every single Republican in Congress and say, you're going to do this, this, and this. This is what I ran on, and you're going to do it, or you're going to get primaried.
Right.
And he didn't do that. We're still on the continuing resolution from 2022 from Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah.
We are still signing and paying and doing the budget that Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden put forth.
Yeah, maybe it's by design that nothing can actually be changed.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point of voting? What's the point? What is, like, I can be more productive. I can impact my local community more than voting.
I mean, I guess you have to look at the small victories. Like, I'm thankful we had all those federal judges in 2021 who overturned, you know, Biden's mandates, like for everyone to get injected with poison. We can thank Trump's first term for that, because he appointed those judges. It's kind of like you have to see the long game, I guess, you know? So, I mean, that's just one example. Who knows what benefits we'll reap 5 years from now. I'm just trying to stay optimistic.
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel more optimistic about what I'm doing on my property with my family than I am optimistic about the world around me, you know?
Well, that was another thing I wanted to give Trump credit for. I mean, RFK Jr. has done some good stuff with, like, you know, the vaccine program for the childhood vaccine schedule. I don't know.
People are losing their minds on that.
I know. Yeah, for like a common sense policy. It's
like,
maybe 2 vaccines is a little too much. Like,
the food pyramid thing, that was clever.
Oh yeah, that too.
Did you see that? They literally turned the thing upside down.
Yeah.
That was great. That was awesome. I love that.
Yeah, that's needed some change for a long time. The health industry got a lot of things wrong. Like, remember the whole low-fat fit trend of the 90s? Like, everything has to be low-fat, and it turns out that doesn't mean it's good for you. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Like, my wife and I, you know, we're on the raw milk train, you know, and you know, we have chickens, and you know, we're growing, you know, we grew our own meat with meat chickens this last year, and we're doing all this stuff. And like, it really opens your eyes about like just how programmed you are.
Mm-hmm.
how like influenced you are by like the screens, like your phone, a tablet, a television, the radio on your car. Like it really is crazy just how much they inundate you with things that they're trying to sell you. You're nothing more than um than a cog in the machine of capitalism. And I know I sound leftist when I say that, but they literally just they want you to consume, and that's it. They want you to consume everything,
Right.
so that they can capitalize off of your human urge to consume things. Like we eat too much, we watch too much, we buy too much, we think about buying too much. Like it's just it's just we're overwhelmed with what's the next buy, what's the next thing that's gonna like suffice my urges.
Right.
And we're trying to reset that in our minds this year. We'll see what happens. It's gonna be hard. That's the one thing we're starting to really enjoy, Danny, is picking something that is hard and trying to do it.
Yeah, good for you.
Like when we moved, like she was scared. I was more excited than she was. But like once we moved, she's like, this is scary. Like we're an hour away from our family, from our extended family.
Life change.
Yeah, it's a big life change, and she's like, this is fun. Like we're on our own. No one can come help us.
Mm-hmm.
Like we have no crutch, no nothing. And I was like, just imagine if we were like Little House on the Prairie, But
took a step towards a parallel economy.
Yeah. And now, I don't know. Moving out here has changed my thoughts on a lot of things, and like just politics are one of them.
Sure.
If you and me represent a quarter of the Republican Party, and the other 3/4 are just gonna play along to win,
right?
Regardless of principle, then like I have better things to do with my time.
Yeah, that's fair. So do I.
I mean, I'll always talk to you.
Yeah.
I'll like we can like I think Tim Pool says all I do is I complain on the internet. We can always do that, but like
yes.
But when it comes to like getting involved in like the committees and like knocking on doors and trying to pump up these politicians who really aren't that impressive, they just have an R by their name.
Yeah.
Like, why?
Because the other guy is worse.
but right. But
I'm not defending that philosophy, but yeah.
Right, but even that, when you get down to it and you talk to leftists, many of them aren't terrible people.
No, I never thought they were.
Vast majority are good people,
right?
And then they have a reason why they believe what they believe. Most of it's out of misguided compassion,
right?
And then we think they're nuts, and they think we're heartless.
Yeah.
Or we're a bootlicker. Have you seen the bootlicking comments on everything lately when it comes to ICE?
Some of it, yeah.
Oh, we should talk about ICE. What are we doing? We're talking about all this philosophical jargon. Anyways, what's your opinion about Minnesota?
I mean, like everyone else, I watched the videos, and it looked to me like all he had to do was get out of the. Yes. So people take one extreme or the other. Not everyone, but the vast majority of people are early on, especially. They were like, "No, she didn't hit him at all. She was just trying to get away." And then the people on the opposite end were like, "She's a terrorist who intentionally targeted him." And it's like neither of those are true. What happened was, yes, her and her partner might have been, and I didn't even see her doing it. It was her partner who was kind of harassing the ICE agents. And then she says, "Get in and drive." And she they tried to get away when the guy was coming after her, and I guess she panicked and tried to get away.
And he panicked.
Accidentally ran over his foot, and he got angry and shot her. Now the self-defense argument comes up a lot. It's like, well, he had a legal right because he thought his life was in danger. But having been in a situation where a car is about to hit you, and I've been hit by a car before, there's no time to do anything else but get out of the way.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was really stupid. You want to know what happened? I was going to walk. This was when I lived downtown in the city. This is a total non sequitur, but I opened the door and my greyhound rushes out. I hadn't even put the leash on her yet, and she rushes out the front door. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this greyhound. It's my life. I'm just going to chase her into the street. Meanwhile, I'm not even like watching where I'm going. So this car, see, out of my corner of my eye, it's going full speed because I'm like in the middle of the road now, like an idiot. And I turned the last minute. It hits me in the cat. I was so lucky and fortunate, Josh, that it was like a small, like a hatchback kind of car. It hit me in the calf, and I flipped in the air and ended up on the sidewalk. I was like totally fine. I didn't hit my head or anything. Wasn't bleeding or anything. I walked away from it, and it was like a miracle. Like, because had that been a SUV, yeah, I mean, I could have been toast.
Yeah.
Anyway, so my point is, yeah, at the last second, I spotted it out of the corner of my eye, and like, yeah, the instincts kick in. When your instincts kick in for survival, you only have time in that situation to get out of the way of the car. If you do that while, I can't imagine wielding a gun while doing that. That would just slow you down. So if it was any attempt at self-defense, it was bad self-defense. So I mean, whether or not he gets acquitted or gets charged with anything, it just was not a good attempt at self-defense. It was more maybe instinctual getting back at her for having run over his foot. I mean, I'm not saying maybe he didn't intentionally do that, but in the heat of the moment. Now, I know that's an unpopular view amongst Republicans, but that's not the way I see it, because I believe my eyes.
Was she was harassing them all day, right?
I mean, we only know that we saw her partner doing on video. Now,
No. She was harassing them.
Okay.
Before that video, from what I understood, she was basically following them around town all day, and this.
It may be true. I don't know.
And then the ice car was stuck in ice, and then she blocked them in.
That may be true too.
So when she blocked them in, I don't know if you've followed what was happening in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
ICE officers were getting blockaded in and then rammed. Like ICE has been getting rammed, and it's been a common way to combat ICE in your city is that you get rammed. One person blocks you, and then someone else comes and rams you. Right. So when they were stuck, I mean, the backstory is that the ICE vehicle was slipping on ice, and they were stuck. She pulled in front like this. Like this, and she was blocking them for the other officers from pushing the vehicle out of the way,
right?
They get the vehicle moving on the ice. So then when she was harassing them, she couldn't move, she couldn't get out of the way. They just said, "Get out of the car,"
right?
And the person who shot her was in front of the vehicle at first, and then he went to the side. As he went to the side, if you watch the wheels spinning, the wheels were spinning and the car was accelerating, but the car wasn't moving because of ice. So like her intent, she had her wheels turned to the left. She had intent at first, or maybe even not, to hit the person or just get out of the way. What happened though was she slipped. Her wheels were turning. She just couldn't move. If you watch the video, the wheels are turning before he could even pull the gun out to shoot. The wheels were turned his way, and the wheels were spinning, and you could hear the car going like she was trying. I don't know if she was trying to hit him, but she was trying to drive with him in front of her / to the left of her. I don't think she deserved to die.
Right.
I don't think she deserved to die at all. But also, when you were talking about how your experience about getting hit by a car,
Yeah.
you couldn't imagine pulling out a gun. When you're an officer, you are trained, and this is a Fed, by the way. This is a federal officer. He has to pass.
Yeah.
Like he's a Fed, so he has to pass gun operation and gun accuracy and all that stuff to stay in the field. It's
Right.
called a field test. So these people are they're trained. Okay, this guy isn't a guy who is a police officer 9 to 5 and comes home to his family. He is a Fed, and they have to follow a whole different criteria with firearms than a cop does.
Mm-hmm.
Completely different. Okay. So, like,
Okay.
you say you can never think about pulling out a gun to defend yourself in that situation. He literally is trained to do that.
So that seems like bad training. Like, because wouldn't that just slow you down from getting out of the way of the vehicle?
Well, he also had past trauma of being dragged. So that goes into it too. I'm not saying he should have shot her, by the way.
Right.
I'm trying to explain to you that it's not as clear cut as you're saying it, and it's not as clear cut as I'm saying it. But her wheels were clearly spinning, and the wheels were pointing towards him.
Right.
And his foot did get ran over.
Yeah. I'm not.
Okay. And she was harassing him all day long. She was harassing ICE all day long, most likely setting up a block and a ram so that they could get rammed again, and then they would drive away. So, like, they're kind of in a war zone right now, you know?
So when you say a block and a ram, like that involves ramming the ICE vehicle?
Yes. That's happened like when they were in Chicago a few weeks ago. That happened in Chicago like 3-4 times in one day, where they blockaded an ICE vehicle and they rammed it.
So what's the protocol for the vehicle coming toward like, what do you do with that vehicle to stop it from ramming?
They were shooting at the vehicle that tried to ram them in Chicago. I'm surprised you didn't see that on the news.
And watch the Chicago footage. So are they allowed to shoot at the vehicle, or like...
No? I don't think their policy is that they're allowed to fire upon vehicles that are ramming at them.
For the record, I think people should let ICE do their jobs. On the other hand, ICE should be, doesn't need to be heavy-handed in all those situations.
So I don't know. Maybe I watched the video too closely, but from what I saw, I mean, the whole thing happened in about 1.5 seconds.
It
was very, very quick. But like, I saw the wheels turn left towards him and then spin as if she was trying to hit him, and then they went right when she couldn't move.
But why would she try to hit him? Like, it just seems like a suicide kamikaze mission, because they were surrounded by ICE.
Because there's already, she was part of a ICE Watch organization, and if you go on the ICE Watch organization's their webpage, like some of the links that they literally had depictions of how to fight ICE officers, like physically.
So they're paid to like mow down ICE agents?
I think there are like in the on some of the links that were in that group she was in was literally stick figure drawings of how to club ICE agents.
I
so,
that. Yeah.
So I think it's important to realize that so many people think differently about ICE. Some people see them as like Trump's Gestapo.
Right.
Some people see them as law enforcement. Some people see them as soldiers. So and also they keep bringing up how ICE has to have a warrant. They don't have to have a warrant. ICE is not held to the same rules of law that a civil servant has, because they're not a civil servant. They're not a police officer. They're not FBI. They're legitimately DHS workers, Department of Homeland Security. They have a completely different line of power to them thanks to DHS. So like they actually don't need warrants. They can do a no-knock warrant. They don't have to have any documentation to arrest you. Like that's just the way it is.
When you say you, do you mean even including American citizens?
Yes. DHS has more power than the FBI does.
So they could arrest you or me.
Yeah. Yes.
So don't you think that's a problem? Like
Yes,
it's
I do see it as a problem. I also think that if you're an American citizen, you should get the heck away from them so they can do their job and they can put all their energy into what they're supposed to be doing, which is getting rid of illegal aliens out of our country.
And don't they usually go after illegal aliens who have some kind of crime?
Yes, yes. But like there was a video of ICE arresting these two Somali people who worked at Target. And they thought it was like the worst thing in the world. And I was like, they arrested him for something. Like, I mean, like, I don't know. I'm losing patience on illegal aliens, trying to feel sorry for illegal aliens that are here and they're getting treated poorly by ICE. You know, like you came into our country, you took advantage of our kindness, you lied that you were claiming asylum in the next closest country and you didn't. You actually came 7 countries away from the nearest country that you're fleeing from, and you came here. And you came here for the benefits. You came here for the cell phones, for the food stamps, for the hotel rooms. Like you came here because we were nice. You know,
So what about someone who's been here like 20 years since they were a child, but for whatever reason never became an American citizen, but
they
also
should be
never
they
committed a
should
crime?
they should be deported.
But should they be deported by the same means as the people that ICE are generally targeting?
Oh, I mean, it depends on if okay. Do you really think ICE are brutal just because they want to be brutal, or do you think they're brutal to the ones who are resisting?
No, I think they're isolated incidents, just like, yeah, with just like with police, when there's an incident of police brutality, we see it on the internet and it goes viral. I don't think all ICE are that way at all. I mean,
Right. So, right now, ICE is targeting criminals. Okay,
mhm.
but like it when they're done with the criminals, and there's still more illegals here that should not be here, that jumped the line and broke the law. I think they should be deported too. Should they be deported by ICE? Yeah, that's literally their job. But like they're not. If people are respectful when they're getting arrested, they're not going to be jumped and thrown onto the ground with a knee on their back to get handcuffed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Not everyone who gets arrested by a police officer is treated like George Floyd was.
right. No, I
So
agree.
like, well, like, so you know how they do the abortion conversation where, oh, rape and incest. You know, they give you the what if this, the what if that,
Right.
right? So
The
I'm
two,
just gonna stay. I'm just gonna stay as principled as I try to always be. Um, if you came here illegally 20 years ago, you should be removed. I mean, it's sad that you came here when you were 7 years old and it wasn't your fault, but you're here illegally and you don't really belong here. You know, you didn't come here by the correct means.
what are the correct means? It's just a law. Like, are all laws virtuous? Like, what if that person established themselves as a virtuous citizen during the 20 years, but just forgot this one? Well, not forgot. Obviously, how do you forget to become a citizen? If
Right.
you can,
Well,
anyone who,
they're not a citizen though, Danny.
right, that's what I'm saying. But what makes them not a citizen? They didn't go through. I'm just asking questions. Like, I
So,
don't know.
all right. So when you were at lunch line in elementary school and someone jumped the line, were you just like, oh, they go to our school, he can jump the line, no biggie?
Hmm.
How'd you feel when a kid jumped the line?
I mean, they shouldn't have jumped the line, but usually it's not a big deal. Like, I've done that too.
What if you're super hungry and someone jumps the line in front of you?
Then I guess you say something like, "Hey,
Okay. There are millions and millions and millions of people all around the world that have been waiting patiently to become an American citizen the correct and legal way, and
Mhm.
these people come in and circumnavigate that.
What else? Some of them like tried to, but they just couldn't pass the test or something.
Well, they couldn't pass the test. They shouldn't be here at all. Like they should be. I mean, if you can't pass the test, you shouldn't be here. No,
Yeah.
I understand that there's going to be hundreds of thousands of sob stories, right?
Yeah.
But it's. Do you agree? Even though you're not fully Caucasian,
Uh-huh.
trying to say this the right way,
Sure.
do you agree? Do you agree with like Tucker that and even like Matt Walsh, that America is a white Anglo-Saxon nation and that we have the right to stay that way?
What is what is that? Like as the majority?
Yes, yes, as a majority, like 51%.
Well, I think right is a strong word. Like it's like saying, does a country have a right to exist? I don't think countries have rights. I don't think
That's true.
yeah, um I would say you have the right to feel that way. Like
I
oh,
know, I know it's difficult from like I feel weird asking you that question.
that's okay. Yeah.
But like I am curious because I would tend to agree that the way why our country has been as successful as it is because of our cohesion.
Hmm.
And the more that we embrace diversity, equity, and inclusion, and
No,
as
no.
the more we embrace that, and the more that we change the culture that made our country great,
Hmm.
I feel like we're gonna lose what we have, much like UK
Yeah.
and France and Ireland and all that stuff. And I don't think that's racist. I think it's just a country. A country is built by a certain group of people, and that certain group of people have children, and that certain group of people have children, and on it goes. And if you want it to stay that way, well, then you have to obviously protect the people, the culture that started it all.
I love the Anglo-Saxon culture or whatever you call it. And I think it's largely represented by, especially like the South, where my dad is from, North Carolina. I
Mhm.
don't want us to lose our Southern accents or the country music culture, like the way people talk down there, the food, the Southern hospitality. I don't want any of that to go away. So I guess I'm agreeing with you.
But like, what about the percentage? Like 51, always having the majority when it comes to like like Democrats have a saying that immigration is destiny. What they're basically saying is
Yeah,
like
I know.
the browning of America is destiny, is like the destiny for America to become a socialist country or a communist country.
I mean, I think we have the right to try to lessen immigration because we're getting overpopulated or
We are getting overpopulated.
yeah. I mean, I I don't think there's a legal ground to stand on to have the reason be like we want to preserve the culture. I'm not
Well, no, we're not an ethnostate. We can't. I mean, we can't do that. We're not an ethnostate. We're not 1933 Germany. You
right.
know, I'm not saying we should do that. I'm asking you, like, do you agree with Tucker's the way he describes it? That like the people who built this nation that made it great were this, this, and this, and this, and they should remain here.
Yeah, I mean, what is he saying that's controversial about that?
Well, people would say that that means that we don't want to allow people from the third world that don't have the same melanin as us to come here. So what I'm trying to get at, I'm trying to beat around the bush, I guess. What I'm trying to get at is that the
Yeah.
people we're deporting they look a certain way.
Okay.
It's not like we have a ton of white people streaming across the southern border over the last 4 years. You know, It's
Right.
like it wasn't white Europeans streaming across the border into America. It
True.
was,
But yeah, but
yeah,
we're not deporting them because of their color. Just we're just
right,
deporting them
right.
because they
But
came here.
the other side thinks that. The other side is
Well, they're
like
wrong.
the other side is literally saying what you were saying. Well, what about the little the little Hispanic girl that was brought here when she was 8 and she's been here for 20 years and she's a good person and she's a productive member of society. Should she be deported? And I would say yes, not because of her skin color, because she came here legally, but they'll always turn it around and say, no, it's because she's Hispanic.
Yeah, no, I would have the same answer for, and see, yeah, that's where you and I disagree. Like, I think there could be some provision made for people who've been here that long and have established themselves in some other manner of becoming a citizen. But yeah, it has nothing to do with their skin color. I'd say the same for, a Russian person who looks totally white. That could be the scenario with them.
Russian people are base, though. I'm just kidding.
That's funny.
No,
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I'm rambling tonight.
No, that's okay.
I
It's
feel like I'm rambling. I don't know. I was just curious about that part because you're a more compassionate person than I am. I've so like I tend to get annoyed by the well, what if this or what if that? I'm
right.
just like, no, the law says this. You came here legally. Your time to go. Like, you need to leave. Come through the legal way. And you have a more, um, much nicer sounding, more compassionate way of thinking.
Oh, thank you. But I mean, you ask good questions like, to what extent can we preserve, the Anglo culture, and how do we do that without, you know, being overzealous in what we enforce in terms of
Right.
so, I don't know. Those are good
Right.
questions.
I
But
don't know. When I see ICE coming into towns, I'm happy. Now I must have been like I posted something on one of these threads about ICE, and I was just like, I'm glad they're there, and I'm glad they're doing I'm glad they're doing their job. And then the one person said, "You must have been one of those silent Germans
oh my
who
gosh,
did nothing, who did nothing."
that's the problem. Like the other side, yeah, takes this extreme position. Like you're a racist for supporting ICE or
Yeah.
something.
What do you think about the masks?
Okay, so the mask, yeah, I don't understand why they're wearing masks because it makes them look like Antifa. Like I don't like the masks. I'm gonna be honest.
It's
Uh,
scary. It's scary. It looks
yeah,
scary.
right.
It looks scary. But I mean, you have a family, right?
Uh-huh.
If you had a job such as that and you had a family and you knew that these leftists will dox you, you can
So,
understand.
yeah. So did they start wearing a mask as a reaction to the leftist protesters? Like
Yeah, that was always the reason why. Yeah.
hmm,
That was always the reason why. They didn't start wearing masks to look cool. It was to keep themselves from being doxxed.
hmm,
I mean, you got to understand the ICE stuff has been happening since LA last year. Like they've been doing this.
yeah.
ICE has been conducting these things since Trump was inaugurated.
Mhm,
So they like people have been doxxed, and what happens is, the ICE agents of that region are stationed in those and where their region is, right? So
mhm,
they live near where they're working, right?
mhm.
So if you can't hide your identity very well, you could be doxxed by a leftist, and they're only a 5-hour drive from your town. You
Yeah.
know,
No, you're right. That would be bad. Hmm.
and again, they don't have to show their ID number because they are not civil service workers. They are federal Department of Homeland Security workers. It's a completely different ballgame.
So what do you think about the masks?
I say wear them because I'm a father of 4.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm doing a job that where I know crazy leftists who just killed Charlie Kirk, by the way, try to kill Trump twice, at least 2 times, and killed 19 people during the Summer of Love. If I'm doing with an enemy like that would, dox me and let everyone know where I live and could kill my children, I'd be wearing a mask. I'd be protecting my family.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah.
I think people forget just how violent the left has become. The right isn't the violent ones, Like we're not the violent ones. Yeah, we have the guns, but we're not the violent ones. The leftists are the violent ones.
I guess maybe they're just not that violent in Lancaster. I just see it as.
Well, like I was just watching all these, and they're all young, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
All the protesters, like in Minneapolis, I was watching them all. They're all like young people, and I'm just like I could never do that because I have a job to go to in the morning. Like I can't be up till 3 a.m. flipping the bird to ICE agents and police and shooting fireworks at them. And so I have better things to do, more important things to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, like as far as ICE, um, I mean, if I was anyone that was against what ICE was doing right now, I would stay the heck away from them because they're DHS. They can literally do whatever they want.
Yeah. That's probably.
So I mean, it's just like if America would go on a martial law, I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty sure they're the guys that would be operating the martial law. It'd be military and DHS coordinating together. Actually, it'd be the Marines and DHS coordinating together, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So
the ICE agents aren't like trained on the level like as Marines, like military.
I bet you a lot of them are ex-Marines
Military.
or
Yeah.
ex-Army. Yeah. I'm
Right.
pretty sure they're like, oh, this is a sweet gig, $50,000 sign-on bonus. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You don't want to mess with those guys.
well, that's what I was trying to tell you about how you could never think about grabbing a gun in that situation. I'm like, Danny, these ICE agents are different like human beings. Like
Yeah.
they're not they're not we're not they're not even on the same
Well,
brain link
I
as
think
we
it's
are.
a shame if they really want to train them to self-defend themselves. Sorry, that's redundant. Like, I just think that's a bad use of that. Like, I still maintain the best way to self-preserve yourself if a vehicle's coming at you is to get out of the way. Would you agree? And like, wouldn't wielding anything, whether it's a gun or a stapler or a hammer, like that's not going to help you against the vehicle.
Do you I mean,
It's going to slow you.
yes, but also we're not trained like these guys. Like that whole sequence was like a
That's my
second.
point. They shouldn't be trained that way in that instance. I mean, I'm not saying they should never be trained to use a gun in different situations, but that situation called for getting out of the way. Period. The gun might have slowed him down, where he could have gotten even more hurt. Is my point.
That's a good point. I do think he's gonna be let off.
Probably.
Hopefully he gets a desk job because that's 2 traumatic things.
Well,
And he
yeah,
probably shouldn't be in the field anymore.
that was probably a factor too. He probably already had PTSD from being dragged, right?
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
So he probably shouldn't have been in that situation.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
I think most likely we're dealing with overstimulated ICE agents with
Yes.
people who are trying to make them overstimulated and pissed off.
Well, and that's what's so sad about people's reactions to this. Like people get all worked up on one side, like they're evil demons, and they get even more mad and cause more trauma for ICE, and the problem perpetuates. So I don't think either reaction is good. Like people who mock the girl and have no compassion, the woman. I'm sorry. Right. People should show compassion. She was needlessly killed. Like people shouldn't like mock her or call her a terrorist. I don't think she was an intentional trying to be a terrorist or anything. She was I can't look to me like she was just trying to get away, which was a bad decision also when a person in authority tells you to get out of the vehicle. But it's not, it doesn't justify you to being killed. So that's my only point. Like, to say that she was intentionally trying to run him down, you have to ascribe bad intentions to her, that you have to be a mind reader. And that, I try not to do that with anyone. I don't think he necessarily had bad intentions. If he was interested in self-preservation, I'm not going to ascribe him any bad intentions either. I'm just saying he didn't do a good job of self-defense.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair.
So,
I don't know. We don't know what we would do in that situation. That's the annoying thing.
I only have my frame of reference being when I was hit by the car. So I think I would just jump out of the way personally, but I'm not him. I didn't have trauma from being dragged by a car and having
or lightning quick federal training how to deal with a firearm.
Well, I think that was my original point, was maybe there's something wrong with the training. If the training told him, this is how you save yourself, get out of the way, but also have your gun ready. Like, it's two competing things in my eyes. That was my point.
That's a good point. I mean, I would prefer our federal agents, to be lightning quick and ready when they need it, because they have families to go home to as well.
Sure. Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's weird. It's like faulting a soldier for killing a soldier of another country to survive. You know what I'm saying? Another one in Chicago that I saw that was crazy eye-opening. ICE had blockaded a street off. There was an investigation going on, and someone in a U-Haul truck like swung up in front of them, and then like where the back of the U-Haul truck was facing them, and they just floored it. And
well, yeah,
and the ICE agents just opened fire on the truck. I mean, they were holding a position because there was something, they were doing something on that city block, and they just opened fire again because the U-Haul truck was trying to ram them.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah, it's a different situation. Yeah, maybe in that situation.
Right. I'm just saying if that is like, BLM had tactics, right? Antifa has their tactics, So this lady was part of a group that had tactics on how to combat combat ICE in their community. And she was partaking in that. She was part of a watch group, an ICE watch group that had links to cartoons on how to fight ICE.
And one of those illustrated ramming the guy with a vehicle. What you're saying?
The Antifa ones did. I don't know if her ICE group did, but her ICE cartoon, like her ICE watch group, had links depicting how to hit an ICE agent with a blunt instrument.
Is she positively associated with them? Like I said,
she is associated with the watch group. They've already confirmed that multiple times. That she was associated with the Watch ICE group, which, by the way, the same Watch ICE group, I think, is being floated around Lancaster County as well.
Interesting.
They have a hotline for Lancaster and York and Lebanon.
I wonder if they're gonna get in touch with like Lancaster Stands Up or Indivisible.
Dude, Indivisible is the one I'm worried about the most.
I've only seen like their Facebook posts.
Okay, listen. I was driving through Illinois to visit my family, right? And I stopped in this little town. I think it was called Macomb, little town, and to use the bathroom at a Casey's. And I was in the male room. I was in the male bathroom, and guess what was in there?
I don't know.
Tampons. So there was tampons, a syringe disposal kit, and like some other stuff regarding drug paraphernalia, how to like get rid of it, and other feminine products on a basket on the back of the toilet, right? And this was in the men's room, and it said These items were donated by indivisible such and such
Really?
county, Illinois.
Wow.
Yeah, this was a gas station chain in the middle of Illinois. So
So
divisible isn't just like East Coast. This is
international
in
group, huh?
yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
I did not know that.
I didn't. Well, I knew that there was some around, but I didn't know like in a little town in Illinois, in cornfield, Illinois, there would be that.
Wow. Do you
Yeah.
think it's gonna get worse before it gets better? The
Oh,
whole
it's gonna get way worse, Danny.
man.
Um, I mean, you're gonna see 34-year-old fathers being ripped out of a house with crying American citizen children, and it's gonna be on the news. And he's gonna be resisting. And he's gonna be brought down to the ground and handcuffed and thrown into a van.
Mhm.
Um, the kids are gonna be sobbing. The wife's gonna be sobbing. It may even be a white woman who he's married to or not married to, just living together because like he can't get married to her because he's not an American citizen. Um, like it's gonna get bad. It's gonna get ugly. It's gonna get bad. It's gonna be Handmaid's Tale. It's. I am glad I'm living where I'm living because I think it's gonna get. I think if you haven't noticed, Kristi Noem isn't backing down. Like Minnesota was like, you can't bring any more ICE agents into Minneapolis, and she's like, you want to bet? And she deployed like another 400 or 500.
Wow.
So she's not backing down. Um, it doesn't seem like Trump is willing to back down. So it's gonna get worse. It's gonna get worse than LA was last year.
Can Pennsylvania become a Minnesota?
Dude, I would love to know how much fraud there's going on in PA when it comes to school funding and
Um,
the school unions.
right.
We just have corrupt school unions and school districts that stash away money in hidden accounts. This is my kids' country. This is my children's country. If you don't have the respect to come through by legal means, you have no right to be here. If you want to come visit my house, you knock on the door and I decide if I want you in or not. You don't go around the back and come in through the back kitchen door and then expect me to be happy that you're here.
All right. All right. Here's a scenario. You invited your friend in to your house and you decide you really like him. So you invite him to stay in your house. Later on, you learn he was here illegally. And then ICE comes for him. And you're knocking at your door and you're like, hey, this is my property. I get to keep my friend here. Or do you hand your friend over from your property?
Hand my friend over.
Why? It's your property.
I'm a nationalist.
But isn't your property?
Don't laugh. I'm a nationalist.
What does that mean?
I'm a nationalist. I believe that this country is for me and my family and my kids and their kids' kids.
Right. But it's your farm, like you were saying, you're self-sufficient on your own farm, and you that's all you really want to be.
Listen.
I'm just putting out a scenario, a hypothetical out there.
No. I know it's fun actually because I'm playing it in my head. And I'm just like, dude, you came here illegally. What are you doing here?
Mhm.
Well, where's your like look?
So
Maybe it's different.
basically, what you're saying though is it's the country's property before it's your property, because you technically wouldn't have to hand them over if you really believe it is your property. You know what I'm saying?
They would make me. What do you mean?
So
They'll charge me for aiding and abetting for one. Like
I guess that's true. Okay, shut down my hypothetical. Right.
No, look. I get all the hypotheticals, but this is your country. This is my country. We were born here. The analogy is as simple as your own house. Like I said, you choose who comes in your country. Your country, or like your government, the people who you elect, chooses how, when, why, and how many get to come into our country at a given time. The other people don't get to do that.
Right.
And when they do get to do that, that's called an invasion.
I got to wrap up here. We've been on for a long time.
I know.
If you would like to be a guest on Lancast or contact us for any reason, send an email to lancastamerica1st@gmail.com. That's Lancast with 2 C's, America1st@gmail.com. Thank you.